want to deploy, you deploy. These are the common steps any job would do, right? That's what you want to do with any code eventually. Right? Now these steps can be manually configured in a freestyle job, right? Or they can be put in as code, what we call pipeline as code. Mark this word. You need to use this word in your interview somewhere. Now another trick for interviews is to keep using all these fancy words. And the interviewer thinks you know too much. It's a good technique, right? So instead of plainly telling something, pure concept, once in a while you sprinkle it with all these wonderful fancy words. So the fancy word here is pipeline as code. So you have this whole pipeline, and you're trying to put it into a code. The code is groovy code actually. A groovy code is written in a programmed way. It's called scripted pipeline. Other one is declarative pipeline. Both are groovy only. So either you do it as a manual way of doing configuring it, or you put everything into a code and put that code in some GitHub. Now in both these scenarios, there is another type. It's not a type, it's a method called parameterized build. This is not a type, remember. Both these things can be parameterized. What does it mean by being parameterized? When you parameterize something, what does that mean? A simple program, for example, let's say you're writing a printf statement in Java or any language or Python. Print, this is a Python statement. Print, hello, let's say honey here. Now you think, okay, every time we run this program, it always prints honey. We don't want that. Instead, we want the program to ask us what the name, what your name is, and print that name. So what we do here, we say $name, something like that, not exactly $name. Now this $name is a parameter. You will read this parameter somehow. Probably you will ask the user itself, enter name. So the user enters the name. You store it in a variable called name, and you are retrieving. Now, if you run this program, every time you run the program, it will ask you for the username, and whatever the username you are giving, it will print the whole sentence. So this is parameterizing anything, any program. Instead of hard coding the values, if you make it into variables, this is parameterized. So the parameter that you are passing on here is name. The same way, a build can be parameterized. Now let's say before we parameterize, what are the constant values? All the fixed values, you want to change it. That's what parameterized. Here, name was the fixed value earlier. You wanted to change it, you parameterize the name. Now here, if you want to parameterize the build, you have to know the actual values of a build, the physical constant values. Now this is actually the build thing. What are the constant values in this build that can be parameterized? The first thing you will see is clone the repo. How do we clone the repo? You run a git clone URL, isn't it? Now the URL is something that you can give permanently, or you can ask every time a build is done. So you are parameterizing the URL of the build. So when the job runs, it will ask you what you want to do. But the problem with parameterized build is it becomes manual. You have to interfere with the program, enter the values. The same way here. If you are running this program, Python program, print name, you have to enter the name, otherwise the program will not proceed. So parameterized has its benefits, but the major problem is it cannot be automated. It needs the values. What? So any parameterized build usually looks for incoming values. It can be a URL of your Git, or it could be parameters of compilation, or it could be where you want to upload. Anywhere you can insert a parameter. Now these parameters, because you are inserting, they can be put into the scripts. Alright? So what we're going to do is, I'm going to show you two different codes. These are all Groovy code, right? And then try to explain how they are different. Another thing, do you have to learn Groovy? Is it better if we learn Groovy? Yes, no? Should we include Groovy also into our course? How is that going to be better? How will that help Groovy? We are not going to write the builds as a developer's job. Why would you write the build? How do you know how to compile the code? Java code or Python code. Only the developer will know it. So all the builds are the scripted declarative pipelines. You're not touching any of them. You get the code, you put it into your job, that's it. Alright, so you're not going to learn this Groovy and other thing again. Python itself is painful. You already have Bash. You have at least two programming. One is Bash scripting, you have to know. And nowadays, everything is Python. You know Python is being taught in 6th standard, right? You are aware of that one, right? So you can't say I don't know Python or I can't learn how programming. It's in 6th class. My daughter is learning Python. Just wait for a couple of years. Just wait for a couple of years. Our kids are going to tell us Python. Alright, so what I want you to do is, let's directly log into a Jenkins server. I set up a Jenkins server. Just directly log in there. And try to run a couple of jobs. This is a Jenkins server. And this is a Nexus server, which is associated with all the builds of Nexus. So I want you to log into this Jenkins, and you will see jobs. Now, before you log in, this Jenkins is integrated with Active Directory, which means you're going to need a Microsoft account. If you don't have it, just create it. It's a free account. In Microsoft Live account. Go to Microsoft.com and create an account. So any Microsoft accounts are okay. So you go to Microsoft.com, create your account. Now you can do that here itself. So here. Now when you hit this URL, Jenkins 01.info.com. It will take you to the Microsoft account page. It is directly integrated with the, you'll get this page. So go ahead and create an account and log into that Jenkins. I'm going to show you two scripts and try to explain the difference between these two. You will also finish your lab here of scripted and declarative pipelines. Good. If you have an account, you can use that account. Now, once you've created an account, give me that account and how to add it to the AD of my account. Once you created an account, post it here. You have created it. Give me your username. You want the pants.
Last one.
Last one. Okay. First one. Did you press the username?
This one.
No, go to here somewhere. First to the channel or send it to me one-on-one. If you have already account, just post it here or send it to me. I need to add it to the AD. Then only you'll be able to log into the Jenkins server. You did, sorry. I need the email ID. That is Suresh, go ahead and check your email. You will have an invitation from the Azure account. Click on that invitation and once you're done, you will be a member of that Active Directory. Then go back to your Jenkins URL and try to log in with that username. Invitation sent to site. Because I need your email. This is the profile. I need your email ID. You can use your Gmail ID also. Those who got the invitation, accept the invitation and try to log into the Jenkins server with your Microsoft username password. The Jenkins URL is already posted onto Slack, jenkins0101.info.com. And if you're able to log in, let me know. Yes. Alright, go ahead and log in. After you log in, what you're going to say? Jenkins 0101. This is instead of a direct login which you used earlier during the lab. You have created a user and you log in, right? Admin or something like that you have created. So this is directly integrated with Azure Active Directory. So you will get a page, login page. If you get this error, you just have to refresh it a couple of times. It will get this error. Right. I am already logged in. Now, once you logged in, I don't think you will see all these things. You will see the functioning jobs, alright? Click on that tab, functioning jobs. You have 3 jobs over there. The scripted pipeline is scripted pipeline. The parameter pipeline is both parameterized and also declarative. You will see it in a moment. Are you able to log in? So click on those 2 jobs, try to do whatever you want. See if you can delete it. I'm trying to test it still. See if you can delete it. You don't have admin rights on this one. So try to hack it or bring it down. See if it works. Such a page use a new browser. And if you are able to log in, click on that, use build job or some kind of thing. Try to do normally what you would do on a Jenkins database. Try to delete stuff, try to do stuff, whatever you want to do. It should not allow you to damage it, but if it does, then those who are able to log in, want you to run the freestyle job, scripted job, these both will run. A parameterized job also will run. Select the default parameters, you will see that. Alright, and see if it works. Nexus you won't be able to log in yet. I didn't give you a username. So Jenkins is the one that you will be able to log in. And if you want to log into Nexus, Nexus is direct login, it's not integrated with anything. Let me give you Nexus. For those who want to log into Nexus, this is the direct Nexus page. I will directly give you the username password, common username password. You don't have individual logins in here. Just give me a moment. Correct username password. This is the Nexus username and password. Try to log in. This is a non-admin username and password. So log into Jenkins. Everybody log into Jenkins. So you have parameterized manager, scripted pipeline, and Nexus freestyle. Try to quickly run through those three things. Let's start with Nexus. Let's start with Nexus freestyle job here. Log into Jenkins interface. Click on this freestyle job. Try to run build now. See what happens if the build is successful or not. Create an account. That's not security, that's a capture now. You have to align it. Upside down. It says upside down. Upside down. Then it will give you 2 or 3 times. So now new capture thing now. How many times do you do? All upside down and asking. All upside down. Then the first one is wrong, right? Do it precisely. Maybe it's not picking up. Check it.
Nexus freestyle.
Log into your Jenkins thing, run this Nexus freestyle. This is a regular freestyle job. Build now. Click on build now. The build starts. Go to your build. Look at console output. These are all standard steps you've always been doing. Now, once the build is successful, it actually uploads to the Nexus repository here. Alright, you can look at the URL. This one. Alright. Now log into Nexus and make sure you got this file over there. So log into Nexus. I already logged in here. You go to browse thing. Under Nexus Maven repo, you should see your this thing. Path is here under repository input ID Maven repo, com input ID hello. Just browse to it. This one. Yeah, there are lots of builds. Your build, I think, is 112, depending on build number. I will build 111, so you will have a different number here. So that's your repository. The var file is in your Nexus. Run the build and check, make sure your var file reached Nexus under your build number.
So mine.
This one? Last. Same way, run the other two also, parameterized one and scripted ones. Make sure your files are reaching an access. Yeah, invitation sent to both of you. Check your mail.